Thank you, Kate. For the third straight year, the Eastern Road to the Grey Cup goes through here. BMO Field in Toronto, welcome to the Eastern Final, everyone. And the second straight year, it's the Alouettes taking on the Toronto Argonauts, who finished at 16-2, led by their quarterback, Chad Kelly. His first year, Dwayne, as a starter, but he is not shy on big game experience.
No, absolutely not. It's often overlooked how important a role Chad Kelly played in the Toronto Argonauts win in the Grey Cup last year. Handful of snaps, but those came as a critical time. We know his college history, the stage is never too big for this young man. Over on the other side, of course, Cody Fajardo, a guy who started his career as a Grey Cup champion with these Toronto Argonauts, now looking to try and take the Montreal Alouettes to the promised land. They come in riding a 6-game winning streak.
First year as head coach in Montreal, Jason Moss's coaching career started here in Toronto in 2012 with the Argos, who went on to win the Grey Cup that year. The next year, the Montreal Alouettes gave a young coach a chance by the name of Ryan Dinwiddie. Later became their OC, moved on to Calgary. He's been the head coach in Toronto for 3 years. All 3 years, the Eastern nominee for Coach of the Year. The Alouettes won the toss. They have deferred, and so the Argos will get the football first. Trying to get back to the Grey Cup for a second straight year. They are the defending CFL champions up against an Alouettes team that's now won 6 games in a row. Final 5 of the regular season and the big playoff win in Montreal last week over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. David Cote, the kicker for Montreal, to get it started. Who will go to the Grey Cup next week in Hamilton? We begin finding out now. The 2023 Eastern Final is underway. A shorter kick by Cote. It's taken at the 30 by Lee. Breaks a tackle, goes to the right, and he does well to get up close to the 40 to make way for Chad Kelly. A remarkable season where he had a record of 15-1 as a starter.
Yeah, Chad Kelly, a guy who, as we said, has no fear of the big stage, no hesitation to make the big play. Look for them to try and strike early and set the tone in this ballgame.
It's been a trademark for the Argo offense to score a lot in the first quarter and to strike quickly. It is, you talk about a big play team. 3 games against the Alouettes this season. They won all 3. The 2 in Montreal were very close, went down to the wire. The one here, they dominated. Back in week 14, A.J. Ouellette, left side, lots of room. Big first down across midfield for the top running back for the Argos, Ouellette. 3rd in the CFL in rushing, and he had over 1,000 yards this season.
Well, you got to love the message being sent by the Toronto Argonauts. There's no question what they're going to do by the formation. They line up heavy to the left. Big bodies on the field. Put the ball in the hands of A.J. Ouellette, who led the Canadian Football League this year in runs of 20-plus yards. Big plays through the air, even big plays on the ground from this offense.
Got up over 1,000 in the last game he played, and against Saskatchewan in week 20. Gets it that time, he's going nowhere. Big rookie defensive end, Lawal Uguak, comes in and takes him down as we take a look at the starting offense for the Argos.
Yeah, and this offensive line has been fantastic. Big part of Chad Kelly's success. Dejon Allen at the right tackle was their nominee as most outstanding offensive lineman. Tavares Daniels, one of many potential big play threats, but he's the guy that led the Canadian Football League this year in receptions of 30-plus yards. He had 12 of them.
Lost a yard, 2nd and 11. Kelly out of the gun, waiting to the right. It's complete. It's a first down inside the 40. The drive continues, opening things up. It's Dejon Brissett on the receiving end for Toronto.
Yeah, and what a terrific year Dejon Brissett has had. Former number 2 overall pick. Back in 2020, getting his first opportunity to start for an extended period. He's been fantastic for them on offense. 5 touchdowns through the air for Brissett. Also among their leading special teams tacklers.
Down to the 36. Opening drive Argos. Eastern Final. The fake and the throw to the right. Wide open. Another first down. Demonte Coxie gets in on the act, and he gets it down to the Montreal 6. It'll be a 1st and goal on this first possession for Toronto.
And watch for the patience here from Chad Kelly as he's waiting for the window to open to deliver the ball to Coxie. It looks like he's going to have open receivers. He can go short to Brissett in the flat, but he knows Coxie's going to come open, finds that window between two defenders. Drops it in there for an Argo first down deep in Alouette territory.
A year ago in the Eastern Final, the Argos started quickly scoring on an Andrew Harris run in their first possession. Faking the handoff. Off to the right, it's intercepted. Marc-Antoine Duquois. What a turn of events this is as Kelly can't get him. Duquois has the pick six to open things up for the Alouettes in this Eastern Final. Touchdown, Montreal.
Series of this football game has shown you the identity of both of these teams. The Toronto Argonauts explosive offensively, march the ball down there, but a Montreal team that has had a knack for coming up with not just the big play defensively, but putting points on the board defensively. That's Duquois' third defensive touchdown of the season.
Had the two pick sixes in the regular season. What a spot for his third here in the Eastern Final, just as the Argos were pressing for the end zone in their opening possession. A quick turn, and Cote with the point after try to make it a 7-point lead for the Alouettes. Big play defense, seen it all year. They knew they'd need something big from their D in this game to have a chance against the Argos. They just got it. We're early, first quarter. The Alouettes defense cashing in at a 7-0 lead. Is the Eastern Final. The winner goes to the Grey Cup next week in Hamilton, and right now Montreal leads the Toronto Argonauts 7-0 on an interception for a touchdown by Marc-Antoine Duquois. Cody Fajardo and the Alouettes offense back on the field inside their 10 to start. Standing at the end zone, over the middle and open, and popped up by Tyson Philpott as they blow that one dead, calling it no catch. Philpott, as mentioned, who had a great Eastern Final a year ago as a rookie, and it's second down coming up.
Yeah, Philpott coming from the bottom of your screen, breaking to the middle of the field. Looked like he had it for a split second there, but he just lets this ball, you see, get into his shoulder pads. Right up against his body rather than in his hands, and the jarring of Mechie coming downhill to make it. The hit jars that one free for an incompletion.
Good play on defense by Mechie, so second down. It is caught shy of the 20, and that is Tyler Sneed with his second catch. It looks like it might be just enough to move the sticks.
Moving the sticks is critical for Montreal on the heels of a fantastically placed punt from the Argos' John Haggerty that had them backed right up. Special teams, an underrated element, particularly the cover teams. We talk a lot about Javon Leake in the return game, but their cover units have been so good, a big part of field position, which has contributed, in my opinion, to their offensive success.
It is enough for a first down, up to the 19 of the Owls. Faking a stand back, dumping it out complete to Austin Mack, who fights for a couple of yards, a second and long coming up. Anthony Calvillo, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league, and the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach now with his old squad, the Alouettes.
Here we're going to go goal to left, 771, W Gopher, X cup, Z flag, S flat, on, ready?
As Fajardo calls out the plays. By the way, the last time the Alouettes went to the Grey Cup, Anthony Calvillo was the quarterback. That was back in 2010. They won back-to-back. Been a while. Alouette 21, second and 8, taken down again. Sean Oakman again, and the second sack for the Argonaut defense to force Montreal to kick it away.
Oakman coming from a three-point stance here. Working off the edge. Just looked like he got Christian Matt a little off balance on that one.
Work not done.
We have seen some big plays plays by the defenses so far in this game. 7-point difference. Joseph Zeman punted from the Alouette end zone. So it'll be good position again for the Argos. John Leake inside the 50. Down close to the Montreal 45 for Chad Kelly in the offense to come on again. And now, let's take a look at our Coors Light moment of chill on this chillier day. There's Andrew Harris looking forward to getting back in. And we got Tyson Philpott, a little stretch out there. The Owls and the Argos. The toothpick belonging to Wynton McManus, of course, a trademark, and Jason Moss. Little moments before this game. Moments of some intensity and some chilling as well. Coors Light moment of chill before the biggest game of the year so far. Trying to get to the biggest of all next week. A.J. Ouellette breaks it left, gets inside the 40, takes a hit, gets it down around the 36 for the big bruising Argo running back.
A.J. Ouellette on the heels of his first career 1,000-yard rushing season. Picking up right where he left off in that regular season as he bounces this one to the outside for a first down.
He has 3 carries now for 18 yards. Excuse me, 28 yards, the longest of 19. And straight back, driving down towards the 30. What a season by A.J. Ouellette, and resting a lot more in the final third of the season, Dwayne, after the Argos had already clinched. Still put up some pretty impressive numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you obviously saw him take a much bigger role this season, even prior to the injury to Andrew Harris. A.J. Ouellette really establishing himself as a Canadian Football League star.
And a couple of touchdowns in the Grey Cup a year ago. He takes that pass. He had a receiving touchdown in the Eastern Final against the Owls last year, and he gets a lot of yardage after contact as he drives it down closer to the 10, and another Argonaut first down as they get a little closer to answering back.
And A.J. after big reception here, swinging out to the right, get him in space. Great job by the receivers. Brissett and Phillips getting out in front to lead the way for their running back. A.J. will now take a little break as Andrew Harris enters to spell him.
So that compliment worked very well in the East Final a year ago between the two. Harris with the ball, his second carry, and tries with a little extra effort to push it down closer to about the 6 or 7 yard line. See where they spot the ball here.
Harris moving the pile a little bit there.
He wasn't down, he didn't get touched.
Well, that's where the argument is. Did they think he was down early? The Alouettes are arguing the ball should be spotted a few yards back towards the 10. And it looks like the Alouettes are going to win this argument too. So not down around the 6.
9-yard line. Back up.
We'll take a closer look here at what led to the ruling.
So marking him at the 9, 2nd and 7. Argos looking for their first points of this Eastern Final. Kelly, a look into the end zone with a flag out. It falls incomplete. Closest receivers, Cam Phillips. Wait for the flag in the final play of the first quarter. Waiting the word from the referee, Ben Major, and looks to be against the Alouettes.
Offside. Yard penalty. It's still going to be 2nd down, but it's the end of the quarter.
So that first quarter comes to an end. One big play stands out most. When the Argos were driving, Marc-Antoine Dequoy with the pick takes it all the way for the touchdown, and there's your score so far. one quarter through the Eastern Final, and there are your numbers, but it's really being defined so far by the big plays of the Alouettes defense in particular, Dwayne.
Yeah, and obviously the one scoring play of this football game so far. Massive interception return deep in Alouette territory by Marc-Antoine Dequoy. It's been the story of his season, leading the way for that Alouette defense, in particular to their secondary.
And now a big test for the Alouette defense, because they got to keep the Argos out of the end zone. Chad Kelly and company moving their way down. They still haven't scored, and yet after an offside penalty against Montreal, Dequoy and company are backed in. It's right at the 5-yard line. It's a second down and a couple of yards shy of a first down. They'll be thinking end zone as well here to start this second quarter. Highest scoring team in the first quarter in the regular season was shut out in this playoff game. For how much longer? A.J. Olette, and they have him taken down. Lowell Uguak has made a couple of big plays against the run, and Reggie Stubblefield too there to limit the damage by Big Olette. So it's a third down coming up.
Yeah, Stubblefield from his nickel linebacker spot. Follows up as Uguak goes low at the line of scrimmage to blow things up.
Big play here on third down. Kelly, they stood him up. He didn't need much. Needed about 1.5 feet, but he did not get much either. See where they spot this ball. What a play this would be for the Montreal Alouette defense if they can force the turnover on downs.
Well, you're not seeing a lot of arguing or calling for measurements.
It is a turnover.
Argonauts. Yeah, no push here whatsoever. It's just red jerseys surging across the line of scrimmage. Tyrese Beverette, Montreal's top defensive player this season, the man who makes the tackle.
Noel Thorpe's defense is the story of this Eastern Final so far, for scoring the points and then preventing them on a third down inside the 5. So they take over Fajardo, and he dumps it off there for Philpott, who gets up across the 10 before he is taken down by Jordan Williams.
I mentioned earlier, Tyson Philpott, a career high in receiving yards for 530 this year through 13 games. He's a guy who about 55% of his receiving yards will come after the catch. Makes him such a valuable weapon in Montreal's offense. They like to control the ball. Cody Fajardo leading the league in completion percentage, that very much by design. Get the ball in the hands of their playmakers and let guys like Tyson Philpott do their thing.
From the Alouette 12 now in a 2nd and 2, and fighting his way through his standback for a first down. It was back in week 14, the last time the Alouettes were here. The only game against the Argos, they weren't even close, and they lost 39-10. Turnover ratio was all in favor of the Argos, 4-0, but it's been a different story so far in this game.
Yeah, the Alouettes came into this game very much knowing what they were up against in the Toronto Argonauts. And one of the first things they said, we got to win that turnover battle. Got to turn that around.
And they have picked up 2 Argo turnovers, 1 for a touchdown, 1 for a big stand right down near their goal line. Stand back again on first down. And there is a Darius Pickett, ex-Alouette. He was in this game a year ago as a member of Montreal. They're signing on as a free agent, and what a great year he's had with the Argos.
Darius Pickett has been a monster for the Toronto Argonauts, over 100 defensive tackles. Argonaut leader in special teams tackles as well, playing that hybrid linebacker position.
2nd and 7. 7-0 Alouettes, second quarter. After a big turnover on downs, Cody Fajardo runs out of time, and he is sacked for the 3rd time in this game. It is Brandon Barlow, who was second behind Falarin Rimalotti in sacks on the Argos, who picks up a big one there. So that'll force the Alouettes to kick it from deep in their zone again.
Yeah, Barlow coming from the top of your screen here. Counter move to work to the inside against the tackle, McGloster. He comes underneath as Fajardo steps up. add to his sack tally.
The Argos are down on the board, but they are winning the field position game, as Montreal will have to punt it again from near their end zone for Joseph Zima, but a good trade-off considering how close the Argos were to scoring the last time they had the ball. And another great punt, Zima, and no choice there for Leak but to take it out of bounds. Third sack registered by the Argo D on Cody Fajardo already. Early second quarter, but the Alouettes still have that 7-point lead. Among the many starts for the Argos in 2023, that man, Tavares Daniels, CFL Rookie of the Year with Calgary 7 years ago, but never had a 1,000-yard season, Dwayne, until this year, finally breaking through at 1,009.
Yeah, big year for Tavares Daniels, able to stay healthy this season, playing the full year, and just a tremendous connection between he and his quarterback, Chad Kelly. Talked about their knack for hooking up on the big play. 12 30-plus yard receptions on the year for Tavares Daniels.
That's a connection that actually goes back to the Eastern Final a year ago. And they only pass Kelly through. He throws that one and completes it to David Ungerer down around the 45. That's what I'm talking about. East Final a year ago when Kelly came on for McLeod Bethel Thompson. Threw one pass in this game, and Daniels ends up taking, those are from Bethel Thompson there, part of his big performance, 3 catches, 108. But then, yeah, Kelly comes on and hits him, and he takes it in for the touchdown. That was in the first half. That made it 21-3 at that point, but the Alouettes did come back and make it a game. Here's A.J. Ouellette. Gets it down to around the 40. Remember, Rocket Ismail was a star with the Argos way back in the early 90s, 40. And how about another guy that went to Notre Dame? How about that tweet there from, or X, I should say, from Tavares Daniels?
Yes, Tavares Daniels looking to have a big day today, perhaps channeling the Rocket, who certainly created some great playoff memories, postseason memories. Most notably a Grey Cup punt return touchdown.
That was in Winnipeg in 1991. Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz on that team as well as they beat Calgary that year. Rocket Ismail, here's Kelly. Pressure, gets rid of it and completes it just inside the 40. And that is Cam Phillips, who missed much of the final third of the season with a groin injury. Just came back for the final game. Third down coming up, couple of yards shy.
Yeah, Phillips having to come back to help out his quarterback on this one. Ends up short of first down yardage as he's quickly tackled there by the Owls' top rookie, Reggie Stubblefield.
So Boris Beatty is coming on. Beatty had the highest success rate in the field goal department, 94.9 in the regular season. Only 2 misses, and this one put down at the 45 for the first points of this Eastern Final by the Toronto Argonauts. Beatty is good against his old team, and something to show for that possession by the Argos, who have more than 3 times the net offense that the Alouettes do so far, and yet they still do trail. Montreal leading it 7-3, second quarter. It is time now for Loads of Taste, presented by Tim Hortons. Little tailgate action. Yeah, we'll start with the coffee and the donuts, but it gets better. And if you don't hear Dwayne Ford say anything, he's currently salivating. Can't speak. What do we got going here? Well, okay, now we're getting serious. Actually, I'm having trouble speaking right now. What do you say we head down there at halftime, partner?
Well, I'm thinking our invitations must have been lost for those tailgate parties. Fantastic atmosphere outside the stadium before this game.
It really is.
And it is just continuing here inside BMO Field.
Tim Hortons, Loads of Taste. Good continuing here to cheer on the Argos and the Alouettes. And a big play for Austin Mack, and that is broken up down the right sideline. On that first down play for Montreal, their lead down to 4.
Jamal Peters supplying the coverage down the sideline. Great jam there. Kept Mack from getting a clean release on the play. And just running with him, providing enough of a distraction. Not sure if he got a piece of that football. For the Alouettes, looking to get something going offensively.
From their 40, it's a 2nd and 10 Montreal. Nearing the halfway point of the second quarter, dumping it off to William Stanback. Hennestein blocked ahead, big play, first down across midfield, and he is not taken down until he gets to the Toronto 45. Biggest play for William Stanback so far in this East Final.
Yeah, well-timed call on the screen as this one cracked wide open as you'll see Stanback catch the football with the convoy out in front. Christian Matt, Justin Lawrence leading the way.
Gain of 25 yards, 1st and 10 Alouettes. 7-3 lead. Handing off to Stanback, who doesn't have much to work with, and he drives through for 2 or 3 yards at best.
Stanback, 18 carries, 95 yards last week against Hamilton. Starting to see his workload pick up here.
Mentioned that the Alouettes had fallen behind 21-3 last year in the East Final. Got a touchdown pass to Tyson Philpott from Trevor Harris. And then in the first drive of the second half, Stanback broke open a 52-yard touchdown run to get them right back in the game. He takes it here inside the 40 and down to about the 38. So shy of a first down, a 3rd down and a few yards away as the field goal unit, David Cote, will come on now for Montreal.
A nice job here in space by the weak side linebacker for Toronto, Winton McManus. Stanback makes the catch, tries to juke. But McManus, not just with the lunge, but wrapping up to bring down the Alouette running back.
David Cote hit on only 75% of his kicks, the longest being 51 during the regular season, but he was 4 for 4, the longest of 40 last week against Hamilton. This to restore the 7-point lead put down by Joseph Zima, and it is put through by Cote, who stays perfect in the postseason here for the Alouettes. 3 big points. Halfway through, under 6 minutes to go until halftime, it's still a 7-point Alouette lead. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on TSN. Speaking of Ole Miss, if you happen to watch the Sugar Bowl about 7 years ago, 2016, a quarterback by the name of Chad Kelly throwing a touchdown pass there as Ole Miss, the Runnin' Rebs, went on to beat Oklahoma State 48-20. He was named the MVP of that game.
Chad Kelly loves himself a big game. Montreal Alouettes trying to change his feelings about these kind of matchups, though, with the way the D has played so far today.
A.J. Ouellette breaks right and then cuts up. Reggie Stubblefield is the one that turned him up after he picked up just a few yards for Ouellette. A 2nd down coming up. Charlene and Kevin, the parents of Chad Kelly. I mentioned many times, I'm sure you know, Kevin's brother Jim Kelly, the great with the Buffalo Bills, went to a game earlier this season to watch his nephew play.
No, bomber 51 hot, or 50 hot. Go! Green 18, 50 hot! Go! Blue 18, 50 hot!
On the snap, 4-man rush. Kelly steps up in the 2nd and 7. No. Incomplete, intended for Daniels.
I'll be surprised if there's not a challenge on this one. It looked like contact came a split second early here.
From Wesley Sutton, no flags out on the field.
Daniels looks like he's looking up at the big screen. And
there you go.
Admittedly, probably closer than I initially thought, but certainly appeared that Sutton was in a little bit early, wrapping up the receiver.
Ryan Dinwiddie, 0 for 7, as you can see.
Last play, they believe there should have been pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
A dubious note on the record, an otherwise stellar one for Dinwiddie. A 16-2 season, but the only CFL head coach without a victory in the challenge department and trying for one here in the Eastern Final. Have another look.
And you'll see kind of an outside move back in. Sutton coming down to cover on DeVaris Daniels.
So command center giving this a good look. And what would make a difference between a first down for the Argos or having to punt it away? It would be 3rd and 7.
And, you know, I think the thing that may get Sutton in trouble here is, as you see, he's got the receiver's arms wrapped up just as that ball is approaching. But we will await the official call.
Just under 5 minutes to go until halftime, and awaiting word from the command center on whether this is defensive pass interference against Wesley Sutton and DeVaris Daniels that could extend an Argo drive with them trailing by a touchdown. And we do see the offense of the Argos going back on the field and the punting team coming off. And so, anticipating that, the decision now announced by the referee, Ben Major.
Upon further review, the rolling on the field is overturned. We have pass interference. Montreal on the 39. This will be first down for Toronto on the 49-yard line going in.
Montreal 37, Wesley Sutton. And the first time Ryan Dinwiddie's won a challenge. It's a pretty timely one here in the first half of the Eastern Final, and his team trailing. Inside the Alouette 50 now at the 49 at a first down. Kelly handing off to a left. Has some room. He found a hole. And he runs into his teammate Peter Nicastro, but a good gain on first down on the ground to set up a 2nd and short.
Yeah, we've certainly seen Ouellette with a couple of bigger runs in this football game, but the Argos
Stay alive.
very
Left
consistently
pass. Left pass. Here we go. We're going.
earning
We're going
positive
punch,
yardage
right,
in the ground game.
Flush or wrap on one. Ready?
The biggest story of this game easily so far is the Alouette defense, accounting for a touchdown and a big stand near their goal line, forcing another turnover. Back to Ouellette on the 2nd down, and he dives through to about the 40. He is shy of a first down. He was about 4 yards shy, picked up 3 of them. So another big 3rd down coming up. They work tempo quickly over with Kelly. And once again up front. The Alouette defense is not giving much. He needed a yard. See where they spot the football.
No hesitation from the Argos despite the turnover in the last 3rd and short situation to go for it here.
Ben Major is asking for the sticks to come in, and a close measurement coming up here. Could this be another turnover on downs? It is that close. Yes, it is. How about that Alouette defense? They do it again. First down, Montreal. And a frustrating day continues for Kelly and that Argonaut offense.
2 stops on 3rd and short with their regular offense on the field. Chad Kelly running the football. You see Sankey coming over the top. But stopped twice in this football game. You wonder how this is now going to affect decision making for the Argos going forward in the ball game.
Front and center, Sankey and Lemon, 2 key additions during the season for General Manager Danny Machocha and Jason Moss. So first down Alouettes with a 7-point lead as halftime gets closer. On that quick one, Duke Philpott, he gets over 5 and closer to midfield. Whistle blows in at exactly 3 minutes to go until halftime. The warning has been given. First given by the Alouettes that they're not going down easily. They have the lead in this ticket to get to the Grey Cup.
It is a monster halftime coming up. We have Davis, Matt, Milt, Leaning Lapo. We'll go to the west. We've got James Duthie. We've got Jim Barker. We've got Bo Levi Mitchell. Who else is coming on the panel? Is Pinball here yet?
Pinball. He's running up here. He's on his way. He's getting uniformly late. He's going to be late.
Who isn't on the panel today? Everybody's there. Everybody's there, and they got everything to talk about already with what's gone on in this game. Blitz coming from Toronto on that second down and 3. Looking to quickly work to Austin Mack, who has the catch, and a first down for the Alouettes. What an impressive first half by Montreal.
Well, the Alouettes did what they had to do early in this football game. The Argos looked to jump on them early. They withstood that and turned it back on them. The defensive touchdown.
Up to the 52. 2:35 on the clock. Fajardo back to pass. He gets it to the fullback. James Taku runs into a wall. Winton McManus just across midfield. So second down after that short pickup by Tuck.
So many storylines with this Montreal Alouettes team this season, but certainly one of them has been the rise of Austin Mack in this receiving core. He and Tyler Snead, a couple of guys kind of buried on the depth chart coming into camp, but with injuries to veteran players like Reggie White, Greg Ellingson, opportunity was there, and these guys absolutely grasped it.
Tuck actually got 5, so second and 5, and no, he can't hang on that time. But outside for him as he's reaching down, but it falls incomplete. Third and 5, and Joseph Zima will come on.
So keep an eye on Cody Fajardo at the tail end of this one as he got up limping, that right knee. Crashed into as his center, Justin Lawrence, was knocked back.
Zima standing inside the Alouette 45 to get this one away. Out of bounds, and the Argos will start deep. Well, part of that Toronto defense had a big day. Sean Oakman has picked up a couple of sacks in this one so far in this first half. He's been a big presence up front. Let's go back to Matthew.
Yeah, big presence, maybe because it's a big meal that happened earlier this week. Sean Oakman invited the defensive line over to his house on the bye week and cooked them meat, macaroni pie, greens, and Robbie Smith told me it was just for us. The message was, let's stick together. We're going to eat together. We're going to be successful together. And I asked him, really, did you invite anybody else? Was there invitations thrown out? He said, no. The defensive line, just us. Guys.
I'm sure they could eat for a few more, too, Matthew. That's David Unger on the catch. The run afterwards and close to a first down. And would be a big one, too, for the Argos, who are not used to starting so deep near their own zone. But I imagine that D-line can put it away.
And I'm thinking if Sean Oakman says you're not invited, you don't crash the party.
No, sir, I don't believe I would.
Backside cross stage, deep cross, T-swing on one. Ready?
As the defense takes a rest, the Argo offense under 2 minutes to go until halftime. Just across their 15, Kelly off to the right and complete. And that's Tavares Daniels. And another first down.
Yeah, the Argos doing a nice job here, eating up a little bit of real estate after a terrific punt by Jonathan Zima to an attempt to pin them deep, starting inside their 5-yard line. Just shy of the first down there is Daniels.
Go! Play team!
First catch, Daniels will let the ball carrier. And a couple of yards. Didn't need much in a 2nd and 1 to pick up that first down late in this first half. Well, Oakman and the Argo defense has been very good for the most part, but so too is Montreal's D. Big reason why the Alouettes are leading this game and have been most of the way. The pick 6 by Duquois was on the first Argonaut possession. The East nominee for most outstanding Canadian, an all-star in his 3rd year from the Montreal Canadien program. Kelly. Second down. Deep ball. No, not quite. Down around the 20. Reaching for it was Daniels. But it's incomplete, and the Argos will punt.
Well, Chad Kelly feeling a little bit of pressure in the pocket, steps up, realizes he's got Daniels headed down the middle of the field. Just puts it up, but just beyond the fingertips of his favorite target.
John Haggerty has been doing an excellent job preventing James Letcher from doing any damage, putting it off near the sidelines. A shorter punt, and it hits an Argo, a Darius Pickett. A flag comes out, and falling on it is Kavian Enta.
You just see the tail end of that previous play. I think that one grazed the fingertips of Tavares Daniels.
No yards. Toronto number 6.
And then this was on the punt by Haggerty, a shorter punt with a Darius Pickett going down, and it came in behind him and hit him. He wasn't looking, and hence the no yards penalty. And 15 more yards tacked on. Still plenty of time for the Alouettes.
No yards. Toronto number 6. It's only a 5-yard penalty. It's going to be first down for Montreal.
Check that. Only 5 in that situation.
Darius Pickett, no surprise to see him as the first Argonaut downfield. Their leading defensive and special teams tackler this season.
Who was mentioned knows this game from both sides. With the Alouettes a year ago here at BMO in the Eastern Final. From the Montreal 53, still 1:15 in the clock at the halftime. And Fajardo takes off and slides. As mentioned, he had 4 carries for 62 yards last week against Hamilton, and he's saying at that point, "Where's my flag? I was sliding."
You got to appreciate the element of surprise on this play call for Montreal after Cody Fajardo limped off the field at the conclusion of their last offensive series.
Jordan Williams coming in, and Fajardo thought that should have been a penalty. It is not, and it is after the 6-yard carry, a 2nd and 4 at the Argo 51. Under a minute to go to halftime. Looking off to the left, intercepted. Tavares McFadden. That's what the Argo defense needed. Toronto takes one away from the Alouettes. Still 46 seconds to go until halftime.
A turnover that from a Montreal perspective makes you absolutely cringe. You saw Sneed lose his footing a little bit as he made the break, but Tavares McFadden all over this one. 2 interceptions in the regular season for the Florida State product. A massive one here with a chance to put points on the board late in the half.
46 seconds to go to halftime. Suddenly the Argos looking for points. Sean Lemon forces the fumble, and it goes right back to the Alouettes. Darnell Sankey has it. You could see as it developed as Kelly was running and Lemon was closing in.
Well, we've talked in this game about things that are textbook Montreal Alouettes defense. Marc-Antoine Dequoy interception that goes for a touchdown. How about Sean Lemon with the sack and strip, turning over the football, coming from the top of your screen on this rush from his defensive end position, and he just keeps coming all the way around the outside as Kelly starts to scramble, and very clearly going for the ball first to get the rock back for his team. Huge play by Sean Lemon. This is why he's an Alouette.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Fucking best, man.
Remember Sean Lemon last week to Matthew Shinetti and asked about what quarterback he'd be facing. He said, "I'll sack them both." Matthew Shields and Bo Levi Mitchell. He did. And what he did there was force the 4th Argonaut turnover in this first half. The team that far and away led the CFL in turnover ratio. So now the Alouettes again with a chance. 38 on the clock. In the Argo zone, Fajardo goes back a couple of yards, though. Tried the quarterback draw. He had no room. Sean Oakman, he's had a good half of that Argo defense. In there again, the veteran Lemon. Another look, and Wayne, you could just see it coming. It was
sure could. Closing, watch the right arm. Just as Kelly draws his arm back to throw that football, Sean Lemon comes up with the strip.
Still inside their zone. 2nd and 15. More pressure. 9 seconds on the clock and way at a field goal range now. Another sack. Valerian Arimalotti in there in that Argo defensive front. Brandon Barlow.
Arimalotti coming from the bottom of your screen. Gets low. Barlow from the other side. As they combine to bring down the Alouette QB. As you said, well out of field goal range, but given the way things looked for the Alouettes a few minutes ago after the McFadden interception, I suspect that they'll take this ending to the first half quite happily.
Well, you see Jason Moss shaking his head, but overall, he has to be at the very least okay with the way these first 30 minutes have gone. As Fajardo puts it down, and the Montreal Alouettes, yes, 11-7 in the regular season, but up against a 16-2 team they haven't beaten yet in 2023. And it all got started right at the beginning with Marc-Antoine Ducroix, but this was late in the half against Winnipeg. You mentioned the 3 that he had. There was one of them, the biggest one coming in this game today.
Yeah, this has been, as I said, one of the themes of the season for the Montreal Alouettes. Ducroix, the East Division most outstanding Canadian finalist, just doing what he's done all year, coming up with massive plays for his team.
And here is Ducroix now standing by with Matthew.
Marc-Antoine, there are 26,500 people in here who saw the Argos driving the field, and then you had that pick 6. Take us through it.
I mean, it's simple, just man-to-man. I think Chad made a bad read on that. He threw me the ball right in my chest, and I ran to the end zone. Nothing simpler than that.
Sean Lemon told me before the game that you guys are going to shock the CFL world. It seems turnovers are as important as points right now. How are you going to continue that momentum in the second half?
Look, that's just 30 minutes of football. They're a great team. We cannot let ourselves fall down. We cannot let ourselves, go to sleep on them. They're a great football team. It's going to be a turnover defensive match, so got to keep what we've been doing on the first half, try to execute on the second one.
Thank you, merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Kate, 10-3. The Montreal Alouettes right now are stunning the crowd inside BMO Field.
Halftime of the Eastern Final in Toronto in a situation the 16-2 Argos just haven't been used to. They trail Montreal 10-3. Here's head coach Ryan Dinwiddie now with Matthew Shinetti.
Ryan, I imagine the most disappointing factor of that first half may not be the score, but the turnovers. How do you want to correct that in the second half?
Yeah, no doubt. We got to take care of the football. Chad doesn't have to make every play. The one we threw the pick 6 was probably a handoff read on his own read. So we got to reload. We got to regroup. It's never going to be easy. We got to handle adversity.
What was the vibe in the locker room? Your defensive line is certainly keeping you in this game.
Yeah, defense is keeping us in the game. We told them that. We got to have the same effort in the second half, but offensively we got to pick it up. But the vibe was great. Guys understand we got to fight through adversity. It's not easy. We're only down a score. Thank God we're only down a score, but we got a chance to win this game. We got 30 minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, consider this, as observed by our stats guru, John Perlberg, 40. The Toronto Argonauts have more turnovers than points in a half, and that's a high for them this season, by the way, the 4 times they've turned over the football.
Yeah, it's somewhat remarkable. And, looking at these two teams' records, leading at halftime, Montreal very good when in this position. They hope that that's a trend that continues as they look to reverse the trend of having lost every game this season against teams that had better records than them.
They came in red hot, 6 straight wins into this Eastern Final. The Alouettes start the second half with Argonauts, and on comes Cody Fajardo after a first half that saw him go 11 for 15 for 98 yards and 1 interception.
But under constant pressure from that Toronto Argonaut defensive line, Sean Oakman led the way with a couple of sacks. Brandon Barlow certainly noticeable as well, part of that pass rush.
For all the praise of Montreal's defense, yes, the Argo defense has stood strong for much of this game as well. Second half underway. 4 receivers to the right. Running left is William Stanback. He had one big play in a screen pass, but taken down by Jordan Williams, and the Argo D has done a pretty good job on number 31 as well.
And I look at the last play call where they've got William Stanback running laterally. Jordan Williams gets to him as he's facing the sidelines. As much as I can, I want to get William Stanback running downhill with that football, attacking the line of scrimmage, in position to drop his shoulder on people.
30 yards receiving, only 4 though on the ground for Stanback at a 2nd and 9 after a gain of 1. There's Fajardo. He's standing in, he's taking off, and he takes a dive as he gets across the 45, shy of the 49, which he needed to get to for a first down. So it'll be a 3rd and short coming up here for Montreal.
And certainly if you're the Alouettes, as they approach midfield here, they want to go for it, maintain possession of this football, keep Chad Kelly and the Argonaut offense standing on the sidelines.
Well, they need close to 2 yards. Caleb Evans, the backup QB, the short yardage quarterback, has come on for the Alouettes.
Yeah, it's not a gimme here. This is a big call.
And remember, too, the Argo defense trying to do what the Alouettes defense has done twice in this game. Force a turnover on downs.
Yeah, you just heard Caleb Evans yell to the guys around him, it might be punt, and it is, as they see the spot. Don't want to give the Argos any momentum. Good decision here for Jason Moss.
So instead, Evans comes off punting unit with Joseph Zima, leading the CFL in net punting average this season, on to kick it away inside the Alouette 35. And Devon Leake, the lone returner back for the Argos. Putting it to the right. Takes a hop, goes out of bounds. No chance at all for Leake on the return. A 1-score game. The Argos are down. Chad Kelly. Turnovers really hurting the Argos, starting with that one at the start of the game.
Yeah, and to me, that was the play that set the tone here, because I think even as you look at the other turnovers, the Argos had momentum. For as much as people may want to say they're flat, they weren't ready to play, having not had meaningful games for the last month and a half. The fact is, the Argos roared down the field. I think the Dequoy play completely rattled the Argos and changed a confident mindset.
A.J. Olek. And great work again up front by the Alouettes. Yeah, the next 2 possessions after the pick 6 for Toronto were 2 and out. So you're right, it's taken them a while to get some momentum back, and then stalling with the those 3rd down gambles that turned out going Montreal's way.
Yeah, and big plays, of course, for Montreal's D, and we know this has been part of their MO during the season, during this 6-game win streak. But they also know what's not sustainable is to rely on turnovers inside their own 10-yard line to win this game.
2nd and 9. It's intercepted. Alouette football, Reggie Stubblefield with it. And the Argos have just turned over the football for the 5th time in this game.
Reggie Stubblefield, the Alouettes nominee as most outstanding rookie, comes up with one in scoring position.
Inside the Argo 30.
And there's the man of the moment, Reggie Stubblefield. Huge interception here. You're going to see him right on the very right edge of your screen, just coming into the shot. Now it looks like he's going to move out to work on Davaris Daniels, but he's reading the eyes of the quarterback. Quarterback is following Brissett on that route, curling to the inside. That's why Stubblefield moves back in and comes underneath that one, but he thought, Chad Kelly thought Stubblefield had already been pulled to the outside. when he makes that throw. Big play by the Alouette rookie.
So now it's on the Montreal offense to do something with what the defense has given them. There's Tyson Philpott and a first down right out of the gate inside the Toronto 15. A lot of talk in the studio about, yes, Alouette defense has been great, but what will Montreal's offense do? They have not found the end zone yet in this game.
Yeah, and certainly helped here by the field position provided by that last interception, as we were just talking about the Alouettes getting those turnovers deep in their own end. Those big because they're taking points off the board, but not necessarily putting their offense in a position to get points on the board. Huge opportunity here, right?
And inside the red zone for the first time, Gwen. Inside the 15. Fajardo facing more heat as he tries to get away. And that Argo defensive front has been very good all game against Fajardo as he is taken down. A second and long coming up.
Now Winton McManus getting involved here as Fajardo tries to step up and run. Robbie Smith as well tracking him down from the backside.
Corey Mace, the Argo defensive coordinator. Defense in a spot right now after the interception by Stubblefield. Just inside the 15 and a big 2nd and 9 here for the Alouettes. Knocked away there by Winton McManus, intended for Austin Mack. So another big play for the Argo D to force a field goal situation in the Alouettes.
And McManus starts off here mugged up at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him loop to the outside again. He's looking at the quarterback's eyes, anticipating when the ball's going to be thrown. And just a mammoth defensive series there provided by Winton McManus, one of the Argos leaders on that side of the ball. As there's an open receiver in behind him on that one, but back-to-back stops there for the Argo linebacker.
But thanks to the turnover, David Cote on to put it through. A flag comes out with that field goal, but if it's against Toronto, it does count, it'd be the first two-score game we'd have here and a 10-point lead. Now, would this penalty, if it's against the Argos, actually be enough to extend this Alouette drive to 3rd and 10? There's Ben Major, the referee.
We have a major foul, roughing on the center. Toronto number 2. We're going to go half the distance. It's automatic first down for Montreal.
Calling Sean Oakman on the special team center, Louis-Philippe Bourassa, against the rules. And that's a 1st and goal now for Montreal.
And Oakman lined up just to the left of the long snapper, Bourassa. And you'll see comes in and drives him. As soon as he snapped the ball, he had rules that have been put into place to protect the long snapper who has his head down, isn't in a position to protect himself.
First down and goal from the 7. Renalade chasing him down. Robbie Smith coming in. The heat still on Fajardo. 2nd down coming up.
Alouettes granted a big opportunity off the turnover and having that extended by the 3rd down penalty. But they got to cash in against an Argo team that has struggled today offensively, but we know can respond in a single play.
Well, time and again, this Argo defense has really been put in a difficult situation. Another one here. It's caught, and it's a touchdown for Tyler Sneed. And the Alouette offense finally does take advantage of the good fortune.
You saw the frustration of Sean Oakman. As the costliness of this penalty is realized, Sneed sits down just outside the goal line. Gamble by the defender trying to make a play on the ball. Good concentration by the East Carolina grad.
turnover. Just like at the start of this game, when it was the defense accounting for the 6 from Marc-Antoine Dequoy. The point after by Cote. Tyler Snead, first year out of East Carolina, who had 3 touchdowns in his first game against the Argos, has a big one there. Fist pump, Fajardo. The Alouettes in the East Final increase their lead.
Well, frustration for Sean Oakman and the Toronto Argonauts after his unnecessary roughness penalty for hitting the long snapper. Proves costly. Extends that drive, which culminated in the Tyler Snead touchdown.
Wow, the Alouettes have just made a different vibe in this stadium right from the start of the game with the interception by Dubois. Now they're up 17-3 on a team that went 16-2 in the regular season. This is new territory in 2023 for Chad Kelly and the Boatmen.
Here we go.
9-0 at home this season. 10-0 against the East. Their last loss was in a nothing game against the Alouettes at the end of the regular season a year ago. They're in tough right now. Third quarter and down 14 points.
Yep. Lakers right. Juno wide open. Go. 18. Attack.
Kelly. Knocked away Lawal Ugawak. My goodness, this Al defensive front. Another big play at the line.
Yeah, Alouette rookie coming from the left side of that defensive line. First round pick out of Texas Christian, TCU. Edmonton native. Doing a terrific job since taking over.
He really has. Ugawak swats it away. 4-man rush on Kelly. He has time. He's flushed out. Mustafa Johnson chasing him as he throws back against the green. It's picked off again. Darnell Sankey with his second interception of the playoffs. And this onslaught by the Montreal defense just continues here in the third quarter. Turnover number 6 committed by Toronto.
It's absolutely remarkable to watch. The Montreal Alouettes in this ballgame and the Toronto Argonauts. We've talked so many times this season about Toronto's ability to rebound from adversity, but they've typically rebounded right away. And now it just seems as if when the response isn't immediate, they're struggling to find an answer.
Going to his left and then trying to throw back against the grain, and Sankey is there. Like Stubblefield before, and Noel Thorpe's defense is having itself a day. Setting up the Alouette offense again in the Argo zone inside the Toronto 50. Fajardo. But Darius Pickett coming in. And Dwayne Hendricks too, and they get Fajardo. Big loss, Montreal, as he is sacked again.
It may just be up to the Toronto Argonaut defense. You see Mustafa Johnson. And this Argonaut defense, with their O's struggling, looks to try and pick them up and generate a little momentum. You see Chad Kelly as he headed to the sideline after that last interception.
He has not faced anything like this season, to be sure. Midway through the third, that is caught. That's a first down, Alouettes. Austin Mack has it. Works his way down to the 40. Excuse me, not a first down. More than 10, but of course they had lost a lot of yardage, so it'll be short yardage now away, but a field goal situation. So that's the contribution of that big play to Mack to get some closer to some points.
Yeah. Certainly, as you said, regardless of being short of the first down, the opportunity that it presents.
It allows them this chance with Zima to put it down inside the 49. Cote's longest this season was 51. To put 3 more on the board after the turnover. Cote. Straight. And short. And Leak is bringing it out and slides down across the 15. So despite that game that got them to within field goal range, a reprieve for Kelly and the Argonauts, the damage is still the same. It's 17-3 Montreal. Chad Kelly back on with the Argonaut defense. They are down a couple of touchdowns. And this was the scene after he threw that last interception, getting some encouragement from his teammates.
Hey, get ready for a beer in the bag. Yeah. Just be ready for fire. Just be ready.
Trying to lead the comeback now. The screen to Ouellette, and Avery Ellis is in for lost yardage. Another answer by that Alouette defense, pushing the Argos back.
The momentum just continues to grow for the Montreal Alouettes, led by their D.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, we're going Boston here. Rebel right, Bomber 65 Ontario. Coach, stay alive on Boston. Ready? Boston.
In so many of these situations,
Green 18.
the Alouettes defense has had an answer to just about everything. 3-man rush. Kelly with time. Wanted to chuck it deep. Instead, he goes to the right. It's picked off again. Another pick six from Montreal.
Unbelievable.
Kevion Ento jumped the route, took the ball, took it in, and the Alouettes are getting closer and closer to an appearance in Grey Cup 110.
Let's go.
And this when you see Kelly,
Everybody back.
3-man rush holding on to the football. It's your bottom matchup. There's Ento, the man of the moment. He's in coverage out wide against Ungerer. Switches off to the outside. Had that time to react as Chad Kelly was forced to hang on to the football. Kind of threw that one out to the sideline without being able to step into it.
I cannot recall a defense dominating a game all season long the way the Alouettes have been dominating this one. Second interception for a touchdown. 7th turnover committed by the Argonauts. And far from over, yes, this is the CFL after all. But Montreal is really taking charge. Looking for a trip next week down the road in Hamilton. It's a stat line the likes of which Chad Kelly has not seen in his time in the Canadian Football League. Second half especially, 1 for 5, -3. 3 interceptions, the most recent one going for another Montreal touchdown.
So he has thrown 5 passes. 3 of them have been picked off.
The latest, Kevion Ento in his first year out of Colorado.
And this has been discussed as the one challenge for the Toronto Argonauts this season. You look at the depth all over the roster. Cameron Dukes is their backup quarterback. He's a rookie. Do you consider making the change? And might you be more inclined to make that change if you had a veteran backup?
It's a scenario we couldn't have even imagined talking about before this game. So back in the hands of Javon Lee as he is taken down up across the 35. Those interceptions, 2 of them going the other way, and that really set the tone for this game by Dubois.
Yeah, and the Argos came out on fire. Montreal unfazed came up with the big play there and just catching fire to start this second half. 3 interceptions in less than 10 minutes of this third quarter.
Heading down towards 5 minutes left in this third quarter. What a turn of events in quarter 3. 24-3 Montreal. Kelly throwing again. It's down low. Stubblefield there on the coverage. Brissett Stubblefield, we saw that interception earlier in this quarter. 2nd and 10 coming up. The winner of this game goes to Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton next week for Grey Cup 110.
Oh, hey, we're going Miami. Rebel right, 60 Mohawk, Z-Cop, backside smash, T wide on Miami. Ready? Go! Green 18, green hot. Go! Blue 18, punch hot.
With time, running out of time. And he tries to dump it to A.J. Ouellette, and things are just off. As that one sails wide of Ouellette, and fans getting frustrated as well as the offense heads off and the punting unit will come on.
And the Argos with a huge crowd that was absolutely behind them when this thing started. Now they don't have that going in their favor either.
Taken by Letcher. Goes to his left, the flag comes out. Still on his feet around the 40 before he is finally taken down. East Final is all Montreal right now coming up. We'll head to Winnipeg for the BC Lions and the Blue Bombers. Meeting for the 2nd straight year to see who goes to the Grey Cup. Winnipeg trying to get to the Grey Cup for a 4th straight time. No team has done that since Edmonton in the early 80s. And the Argos were hoping for a chance to get back for a 2nd time and defend their title, but my goodness, they have a lot of work cut out for them now. Montreal football leading by 21. William Stanback on the ground as he gets it up across the 25.
We look at the way that this football game has gone thus far. You think about conversation we had at the end of last week's semifinal. Sean Lemon made reference to it with Matthew Shinetti.
Why Stampede? W Ottawa. I don't know. I'm ready.
The Alouettes had the thing that the Argos couldn't have, which is momentum. Coming into this riding a 6-game win streak.
A 2nd and 6. Fajardo dumps it off, gets it to Stanback across the 30, and Stanback a 1st down for the Alouettes as he gets it across the 35 as Fajardo was slow getting up.
Well, you could hear a little groan from Cody. He takes a shot just as he delivers that football to his running back. Just in the nick of time as Stanback picks up the 1st down.
Under 3 minutes to go until 3/4 time. A quarter completely dominated by the Alouettes. Stanback turns it back and salvages something, picks up a couple more yards. 2nd and long, still ahead.
Yeah, Alouettes slowing the pace of this thing down a little bit. Leading on Stanback in the ground game. In this particular possession. Maybe trying to take advantage of an Argo defense that isn't used to being out there so much with its own. Turning over the football, suffering 2 and outs, and so on.
2nd and 8. Montreal from the 37. Fajardo takes off across the 40. 1st down. Slides near midfield. This offense is on the move now. Under 2 minutes to go until the end of the 3rd quarter.
And the other element, you think about the Toronto defense in the last 6 weeks, where guys have been rolling in and out of the lineup, maybe not playing as many snaps as they usually would. Concept we usually talk about early in the season. The only way to be in game shape is to play games. And they don't have guys that have had to play a lot. Long series, long possessions, and a lot of snaps down the stretch.
From near midfield in a 1st down Stanback. Stuffed up, and he turns around and backpedals, or Jeshrin Antwi, excuse me, in his 3rd year to the Calgary Dinos. Antwi the ball carrier as he picks up about 3.
Yeah, after the previous play, Stanback signaled to the sideline for a break. Antwi comes on to spell him.
history of the Canadian Football League have won 16 games in a single season. The only other team to do it, Edmonton, in 1989. They went into the Western Final against Saskatchewan, the heavy favorite. They were upset by the Rough Riders, who went on to win the Grey Cup. Alouettes hoping history repeats itself. 2nd and 7. Deep look over the middle for Sneed, who has a touchdown earlier in this half, and that one falls incomplete. A 3rd down coming up here for Montreal.
Well, they managed to gain a little bit in the field position battle, eat up some time on the clock. But it will be the punt team that comes out here for the Alouettes.
Joseph Zima. He heads right again. He's done a very good job of placing these punts. That one's taken by Umber at the 20. Turning around. Nowhere to go. Taken down. So Chad Kelly coming back on. Let's go back to Matthew.
To say the Argos are shocked at what is happening right now would be an understatement. Over the last number of series, especially as Chad Kelly has kept throwing interceptions, his teammates have been coming over to him, trying to encourage him, from Ryan Dinwiddie to DeMonte Coxey, but maybe the most telling interaction just happened. Andrew Harris came over to him, covered in his jacket, covered his jacket over Chad Kelly's head, and kept whispering to him. Remember, it was Andrew Harris this season who had questions about Chad Kelly's leadership. If Chad Kelly wanted someone right now in this position, Andrew Harris is the best guy to have, guys.
Go! And Matthew, here he is now, down 3 touchdowns, starting from their 21. Late 3rd quarter, just seconds left in it. Completes it to Tavares Daniels to set up a 2nd and short.
And a sarcastic cheer from the crowd.
Here we go, huddle.
Response to what has been a rare completion for the Argos in this half.
As bad as that first half was for Toronto, if you look at Michael Pinball Clements, their general manager, as bad as that first half was, they were down just 1 score. The 3rd quarter has been an absolute disaster. And it's coming to an end, and Kelly takes off. 1st down, and he slides down with more with his biggest running play of this Eastern Final. And that is quarter time. What a memorable quarter for the Alouettes, especially their defense. The interceptions, another one picked and taken into the end zone. Darnell Sankey, Reggie Stubblefield, 15 minutes away, looking for a trip to Grey Cup 110. A look at the numbers through 3 quarters, and it's absolutely stunning when you look at the turnovers to see an Argonaut team, which was the best in the CFL for not giving the ball away, suddenly turn into the worst. 7 times, just a 1 for the Alouettes.
Yeah, the Alouettes, again, they came into this game and they talked about the things that they knew they needed to do. And you just think, well, that's easier said than done. We got to win the turnover battle against the Toronto Argonauts. They're winning it in just dominating fashion, all over. The Toronto Argonaut offense and Chad Kelly.
+6 in this game. They were 2nd in the CFL behind the Argos, albeit a far way behind at +14. But +6 in this game alone for Jason Moss's Montreal Alouettes. 4th quarter begins. Chad Kelly with the ball. Lots of time in the 3-man rush. Gets rid of it, and he completes it too. He finds an open receiver. That is Cam Phillips. Just his 2nd catch of this game as he gets it inside the Montreal 45. And the Argos quickly moving up over the ball.
Yeah, stringing together a few successful plays in a row here for the first time in the 2nd half.
Red, go ahead.
They work tempo, throwing right away. And completing that one inside the 40 as it goes right back to Cam Phillips, who missed much of the final 3rd of the season with injury. Came back for the final game. Whistled in from the 37. A.J. left. The big carry for 34 as he gets it down inside the 25, and another Argo 1st down.
Yeah, nice patience there from Ouellette right at the line of scrimmage. A little pause and reset before bouncing this one to the right. Argo's changing up the pace of this football game.
Hey, no. Hey, rebel left. Good Kentucky. Hey, good Kentucky. Good Kentucky. Red, go ahead.
in the Montreal 25. Pressure comes. Kelly chooses to run again. He takes off. He gets it down close to the 15. Close to another Argo first down.
Well, you can hear Chad Kelly changing up the call at the line of scrimmage. Calls his own number here for a gain of 9.
Red, go ahead.
Third trip to the red zone for the Argo offense. Kelly with time. Looks to the end zone in coverage. Coming across was Ento. In coverage on Dejon Brissett, and Ento nearly had a chance for another interception.
A risky throw in the territory of the two guys that have victimized Kelly for pick sixes in this ball game. Ento and Marc-Antoine Dequoy patrolling that part of the field as well. But Ento, the one who gets a hand on it.
It is third down and short. Just inches away. Cameron Dukes, short yardage quarterback, who's had a couple of starts for Kelly and also appeared when he got hurt back in week 9 in Calgary. And Dukes used to this situation as he takes it to the right and should have enough to keep this drive going.
And point out that when the Alouettes got 2 turnovers on downs on third and short in the first half, it was Kelly, not Dukes, in the short yardage unit in the game. It was Kelly in the regular O that turned over the ball in those situations.
The Argos need a touchdown. No question about that. Down 21 points here in the fourth quarter. They have a first down and 10 now at the Alouette 14. Still have not scored a touchdown in this game. Kelly stands in calmly and then takes off and takes a hit from Darnell Sankey after picking up just a couple more yards. Second down and long. What an acquisition Sankey has been for the Alouettes.
Kelly again forced out of the pocket. It's fascinating to kind of listen to the crowd noise in this game, because you can hear that almost nervousness as you see Kelly start to scramble, knowing that those are the situations that have resulted in interceptions earlier in this ball game.
Sean Lemon is the injured Alouette. He is still down. We will take a break. Fourth quarter Eastern Final, and the Alouettes are in charge. Coming up after the Eastern Final, we'll head west. Winnipeg, IG Field, Zach Collaros and the Blue Bombers trying to get back to the Grey Cup for a 4th straight time. Standing in the way, Vernon Adams. The BC Lions, who won at IG Field back in week 3 with a great defensive performance.
Go! Play team!
That's coming up. Finals day here at TSN. Chad Kelly, 2nd and 8. He keeps it down around the 5 as he is hit and falls down around the 5-yard line. Again, close to another first down, but it looks like he'll be just shy. Another short yardage situation coming up here for Toronto.
And Chad Kelly relying on his legs a little bit more here as this second half goes on. And learning from his mistakes, not wanting to be forced into a bad throw when he feels pressure in the pocket.
It is third down. Olette. And instead of lining up in short yardage, more conventional running play for A.J. Olette, who looks like he has it.
He should be right around that 3-yard line. Here comes the measurement. From that overhead view, he looked like he would have it by about a foot.
They turned over the ball on downs twice. And they were close. They do get the first down. First and goal coming up here for Toronto.
Let's go!
10:38, fourth quarter, 24-3 Alouettes. Argos still looking for their first touchdown. Whistle down before the play, tossed in for Brissett. The whistle blew before the snap of the ball.
Okay, Toronto snapped the ball before I whistled it in. So we're going to reset the play. We'll redo first down. There should be 10:38 on the clock. 10:38.
Argo fans letting Ben Major hear it. So the first and goal play yet to be run here. And Toronto needing a touchdown just to get close to getting back into it.
Let's go.
Long way to go in a short period of time to get there.
Red, go ahead.
First down, left side, gets down close, down around the 1.
Another big collision down there. Deontay Evans. Some difficulty down there after being attempting to make the tackle on Ouellette. Evans on the receiving end of friendly fire from his teammate Ento.
Getting some attention from the Alouette medical staff is make some changes. Avery Williams coming in. Some substitutions here down near the goal line for Montreal.
We'll get another look here at that collision between Ento and Evans. The Alouette halfback now back to his feet, headed to the sideline.
Deontay Evans was with Montreal in 2019, then in 21 and 22 with the Ticats. It is a second and goal, Toronto. Cameron Dukes is in at quarterback. Right at the 1. Dukes keeps right side, finds an opening, and the first touchdown of the game in this Eastern Final for the Toronto Argonauts.
Did a nice job with the formation. They had 10 men basically lined up across the front, which flattens the Alouettes out completely as they've got to defend every gap. Send a lead blocker around the edge. There's no one in behind to scrape and fill on the play. Dukes marches in easily.
Caps off a 13-play, 89-yard drive in just over 5 minutes of time. Barely over 10 minutes left in this fourth quarter. The Argos need a couple more touchdowns. The point after for Boris Beatty. Puts it through. 14-point game. Alouettes still comfortably in front. But the Argos have a better chance now at least getting the score. Cameron Dukes with it. 24-10, Montreal. Chad Kelly looking things over on the tablet after a 13-play drive results in the first Argo touchdown.
Yeah, and the positive in this, aside from the obvious of the touchdown for the Toronto Argonauts, is seeming to find some consistency on offense, making some plays. Now the negative side, positive for Montreal, you forced them to take 13 plays. Toronto went tempo, so it didn't take up a ton of time off the clock, but nonetheless, if you're Montreal in terms of your game plan, you look at an Argo team where A.J. Ouellette leads the league in 20-plus yard runs, Tavares Daniels leads the league in 30-plus yard receptions, Javon Leake leads the league in punt return touchdowns.
Here's James Letcher. Celebration on the Alouette sideline. Right after the Argos had scored, the Boris Beatty kickoff, and James Letcher, a rookie, replacing Chandler Worthy, gets this kick return for a touchdown.
Letcher played 4 games at the end of the season after spending most of the year on the practice roster. In those 4 games, as you said, 2 punt return touchdowns. I was just talking about Javon Leake and his ability in the punt return game. Letcher actually had a higher punt return average this year than Leake did. 17 yards of punt return for Letcher to 15 for Leake. 2 kick return touchdowns in 4 games for Letcher. Now his 3rd in his 6th CFL contest.
He had a missed field goal return for a touchdown against Edmonton. In the regular season finale against Hamilton, he had a punt return TD, and this took a little while longer, as you talked about, Dwayne, killing some clock before waltzing in from the 1. A 105-yard touchdown kickoff return for James Letcher, as the Alouettes get it right back from Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas. Letcher and Byron Archambault, special teams coordinator. Loving that. And the dismay on the faces of Argo fans in a state of shock at what has happened today in this Eastern Final.
Disbelief from the audience here at BMO Field.
A 16-win team could be 9 minutes and 21 seconds away from being upset in this Eastern Final. 31-10, the Letcher touchdown return. And yeah, look at those numbers, 626 combined in his first 4 CFL games.
And all the things that were talked about that Montreal had to do in this game, you figured they were going to need defense to come up big, even score. You figured special teams was going to have to help them maybe score. They're getting that perfect storm here for the Alouettes thus far in the ball game.
Kelly back to work to Brissett, and they swarm them. And this isn't just about scoring now, it's about scoring quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to on the last drive. When you're Montreal, and you know Toronto has all these people who can make big plays and take chunks of yardage right now. Montreal's avoided giving up the big play. When the Argos scored an offensive touchdown, it was a 13-yard drive. When you're Montreal, you go, you know, we knew we weren't going to shut them out. And if they're going to score, that's how they had to score. That's how you're okay with them scoring, so to speak. But
Quick
just
one
don't
there.
give up the big play.
A smaller one to Daniels, though, for a first down across midfield. Kelly, deep look. Daniels again, he'll take it in past the claw, and a touchdown for the Argos. So yeah, they need about a couple more of those if they're going to have a chance in this game. But as said, not just the touchdown, as you talked about, they got to work fast, and they answer right back. So suddenly trading touchdowns with the Alouettes.
Yeah. And this is exactly the guy you expected to see on the receiving end of it. Watch on the left side of your screen, you're going to see Daniels just gets left wide open. Clearly a bust in coverage. Sutton let him go, expecting someone else to pick him up. Daniels, 3 catches for 108 yards in last year's East Final. Comes up with the Argos' biggest passing play of this East Final.
3 plays, 65 yards, and just over a minute, and the time is as big a factor as the score at this point, as they do get back to within 2 touchdowns very quickly. Second straight Eastern Final, Tavares Daniels has scored a touchdown against Montreal, but his team is still in a big hole. And Mike, I bet you're a James Letcher fan. Well, Letcher's back there again. He's just at the second longest kickoff return for a touchdown in playoff history in the CFL at 105. Tavares Daniels then comes back, answers scores with a touchdown for Toronto. So back to a 14-point difference. And Beattie will kick it off again. And it's again headed Letcher's way at the 15. Let's turn back, and he goes back inside the 20.
We'll take a look back moments ago. Tavares Daniels, the man of the moment. You just see Sutton, the halfback, sees him coming. He anticipates someone else is picking him up as he passes him off. No one else can get there. Daniels off to the races as the Argos try to make a game of this.
They spot the ball and the furthest point up in the return. So about the 23 now on a 1st and 10. Cody Fajardo and the Montreal Alouettes with a 14-point lead halfway through the 4th quarter. That is complete to James Tuck. He bounces off the bar at McFadden, and he keeps going as Tuck rumbles, stays in bounds up close to a 1st down.
Yeah, big broken tackle there by the fullback, James Tuck, the former York Lion. Aurora native coming back home to play here today in front of friends and family. That's a big one for him.
Just shy of the 1st down, just inches away, and a 2nd down here. Just under 7 minutes in this 4th. Caleb Evans.
All right, here we go. Easy.
At quarterback for Montreal.
I'm going to let the clock rush on here. It's going to be Fib, Jack, left swap. Here's the preview. Fib, Jack, left swap, Y flow star, Mac C right. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to.
It is 2nd down and inches. They do have a down to play with here. Nope, now they're marking it a 1st down. They had a change here of marking the football, and so it is a 1st.
There's the explanation.
Two North Snug, Queens right, ugly 92.
Well, there you go.
Why Shack Z Mud W Lee, that's slice, even ready?
So Fajardo back on instead of Evans when they altered that and made it a 1st and 10 for Montreal. From their 33, closing in on an appearance in the Grey Cup. The blitz is coming. Give it to Stanback, and he picks up a couple up around the 35. And the Argo defense, which has been very good under the circumstances, desperately needing a stop.
And watching substitutions for the Montreal Alouettes offensively. Keeping big bodies in the game. James Tuck in at fullback last time. Reggie Sibasu in to play the tight end spot. Now as they go a little more conservative.
Blitz coming on 2nd and 8. It's complete to Cole Speaker. Keeps his feet and gets a big 1st down for the Montreal Alouettes. Up across the 45. A timely reception and run afterwards by Speaker.
Yeah, much like the Tuck catch, breaking a tackle. To pick up those critical extra yards. Every minute that the Montreal Alouettes can keep the Toronto Argonaut defense on the field and Chad Kelly on the sidelines.
We'd like to welcome our viewers on TSN3 who've been watching the Jets and the Stars. Rod Smith, Dwayne Ford, Matthew Shinetti in Toronto. Jason Moss, the head coach of the Alouettes, incensed. His team is leading this Eastern Final over the Argos, 31-17, with a huge performance from his defense, which has scored a couple of touchdowns in this game. Wanted a timeout.
Yeah. Yes. Scrambling to try and call that.
Moss's Alouettes have the ball in the 14-point lead. They came into this game despite 11 wins in the regular season as the underdog compared to the 16-2 Toronto Argonauts, who had clinched the East Division a full 2 months ago. Their last meaningful game in the standings came against the Alouettes in Montreal back in mid-September. From the Alouette 47 on the first down, the fake, the handoff. Fajardo keeps it, and he gets it up near midfield, and he pays the price too, as he takes a hit and goes down. It is second down and short. Another big second down coming up here for that Argo defense.
Timeout for Toronto. Please reset the clock to 5:11. 5:11.
Fajardo took a big hit, but it's 2 Argos down, and Wynton McManus and Jamal Peters.
And obviously 2 very important Argo defenders. You saw as they both converged on Fajardo. McManus coming from the backside looked like his head. It caught the lower body of Jamal Peters. Peters' backside and hip, forcing McManus's head and neck to flex awkwardly here.
And it was Jordan Williams with the hit on Cody Fajardo. But I mentioned 2 Argos. Jamal Peters still lying down, and just getting up now is Wynton McManus, voted a CFL All-Star this year, their weak side linebacker.
And now the Argos took a timeout. Not sure if that would allow those defenders to stay in the game, as McManus was able to jog off eventually.
And as we wait, just with Peters down, in terms of this game and a point of history, in 1989, the only other 16-win team, Edmonton, lost to Saskatchewan in the Western Final. The Argos made history this year, joining Edmonton in that win department, but still down 2 touchdowns. Barely 5 minutes to go, and good to see Jamal Peters is up and heading off on his own.
So in the shuffling of personnel for the Toronto Argonauts, we'll see Quantez Stiggers will move from field corner to Peters' spot in the boundary corner. Jamie Harry, the Canadian who started a number of games at field corner down the stretch, will come in at that spot.
And one thing,
should be Jonathan Jones in at linebacker for McManus.
Sorry, Dwayne, I was going to say one thing Ryan Dinwiddie has been doing in these past 6 games is he's had the luxury of juggling, especially in the secondary, where they've had some injuries. Robertson Daniel still not able to play in this game, still hurt, but at least to your point, someone like Jamie Harry has ended up getting a lot of playing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. The depth that they've built through the organization and able to get reps for those depth players down the stretch because of the standings.
It is 2nd and 2 with Williams stand back left side, and he knifes his way through. It's close. See where they spot the football as he gets near that first down marker. And a 3rd down possibly coming up. Looks like where they're going to put the football.
They stand back again, attacking the perimeter. Able to get north-south at the end.
They're going to bring the sticks in. It is very, very close. If they didn't get it, it'd be inches shy. Caleb Evans is already on the field for the Alouettes.
It was 2nd down, okay? Yeah. So it's going to be 3rd down.
3rd down and about 6 inches away. Under 5 minutes to go. The clock working against the home side now. The tone was set in this game early with a big defensive play for the Alouettes. Just as the Argos were pressing for the first points inside the 10, an interception for a touchdown by Marc-Antoine Ducroix. And Montreal, especially their defense, has not looked back. Defense and special teams with the Letcher return for the touchdown too to defuse Toronto momentum. Big defining points for this Alouette team.
Wide toss, sexy, Nike C left, out, ready? Here we go.
Third down, 6 inches to go. Caleb Evans in, just inside the Argo zone. He keeps it, a flag comes out. Pending the flag, Evans easily has enough for the first down. And Fajardo heads back on.
The Toronto defensive line was offside. It's a 5-yard penalty, makes it a first down for Montreal.
So 5 yards further up in Argo territory.
And more importantly, it's maintaining possession of the football. An opportunity to keep the clock running. Limit the Argos' opportunity to score in this ball game. A game in which Montreal has put up 31 points with only 1 offensive touchdown.
Remarkable. 2 interceptions for touchdowns by the defense. 7 takeaways. Tyson Philpott cuts it back and gets down to around the Toronto 40. And a second down and short is coming up. Up next, Lions Blue Bombers Western Final, IG Field in Winnipeg.
Monster 2-back, Monster 2-back. 3-9.
Jason Moss, in his first experience as a CFL coach, of course he was a longtime quarterback. He went to the Grey Cup with the Toronto Argonauts back in 2012. Along the way, they upset the Alouettes in Montreal in that 2012 Eastern Final. He was on the other side. But looking to make an appearance in the Grey Cup for the first time as a head coach. He had 4 years as head coach with Edmonton. Second and 3, Williams stand back. Flags out, has more than enough for the first down near the Argo 30.
Yeah, this was the kind of run that suggests a little bit of fatigue.
Offside, Montreal number 81. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay second down.
Nonetheless, looks like some fatigue from the Toronto defense. Boston Mack out of the slot towards the top of your screen. Just a hair early.
So 5 further back, a second and long now for the Alouettes. Clock ticking down to the 3-minute warning. Leading by 2 touchdowns. Looking to complete what would be a big upset here in the East Final. Fajardo airs it out. Down the right for Mack. Coverage is there. Closest to it, Mason Pierce, and Fajardo knocked down. Gets to his feet again. So incomplete, third down coming up with the 3-minute warning being issued here at BMO Field. The Montreal Alouettes closing in on their first appearance in the Grey Cup in 13 years. Still, they have to close it out. 2:59 on the clock at BMO.
The Western Final between the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers coming up next. The big question is, will Nick Dempsey play? No shoulder pads here, or Rasheed Bailey? We will find out. That's coming up after the Alouettes and Argonauts.
And Kate, that look says it all for the usually smiling Michael Pinball Clemens, who's had so much to smile about the way his team has performed this year, but not today, not at this point. 31-17, under 3 minutes to go. And good coverage. Ooh, Javon Leake does get up, but still is taken down shy of the 20. Sean Lemon, one part of an outstanding defense on the day. Is time now for Tackle Your Thirst, presented by Twisted Tea. Second straight time we give it to Sean Lemon for this big turnover forced.
Yeah, absolutely massive. The Toronto Argonauts had just taken possession of the football on an interception late in that first half. Very next play, Sean Lemon comes up with the sack and strip, putting the ball back in the Alouettes' possession and snuffing out the threat.
Tackling Your Thirst, presented by Twisted Tea with a little bit of lemon. Once again. Understand Royce Mechie getting a penalty. The Argos, Toronto football, after the return by Leak.
After the play, we have a misconduct against Toronto number 9. We'll go back half the distance. It's going to be first down for Toronto. It's a 15-yard misconduct.
Never a good time for a penalty, but especially now that puts them even closer to their goal lines. They'll start this possession at the 9.
A couple of costly penalties in this first half. There's Mechie in a bit of a wrestling match.
In there with Jake Hardy. Penalized for that. David Unger. He catches and he is greeted right away by Deontay Ruffin.
Argos forced into tempo here.
And they work it to Willett, who has to reach and juggle for the ball a bit. And Reggie Stubblefield, what a game he's had, converging to make sure they don't get the first down. In fact, it's a loss of a yard or two, as they have to stay in. 3-down football now. 3rd down and long from their 13. 2:22 on the clock and a 3-man rush. They drop back. Oh, nearly picked again. A defender coming in across and in front of Tavares Daniels, and that's it. Turnover number 8 committed by the Argos in a situation where they had to go for it. And the Montreal Alouettes are closing in on an appearance in the Grey Cup next week in Hamilton.
Throwing down the seam, looking for Daniels. Alouettes well positioned on the play. Dequoy getting a hand on it. Sutton with the hit. Alouettes taking over the football deep in Argo territory.
That look says it all for Ryan Dinwiddie in what's been in so many ways a remarkable season, but they knew it's how you finish. That's what matters most, and it's not going their way today. You can feel the celebration, see signs of it on the Alouette sideline now. 2:16 on the clock, a 2-touchdown lead and a chance for more points now. William Stanback, excuse me, Jeshurun Antwi again. Antwi the ball carrier. He gets it down closer to the 15.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to look at this and talk about the Argos having not played meaningful games down the stretch and so on. But one of the points I want to make here is let's give a whole load of credit to the Montreal Alouettes. Yeah. The Argos were still 5-1 in the last third of the season. They weren't mailing it in.
Burn, Rolls Royce, okay?
And that one loss in Winnipeg, when Cameron Duke started, they led that game through much of the way. So no, you're right. This has just been a brilliant performance by the Alouette defense. 2nd and 9, Antwi again, right side, room inside the 5, touchdown. Icing on the cake for an Alouette team that's about to clinch a spot in Grey Cup 110. How about the Montreal Alouettes?
Big team on the field. No surprise what they're doing, running the football. Antwi, great job. He's aware of the sideline as well because he wants to make sure he stays in bounds, keeps that clock going even if he gets stopped. Been able to find his way to the end zone back-to-back weeks. The former Calgary Dinos, Hardy and Antwi. With some big closing touchdowns for these Montreal Alouettes.
Oh, you know Cody Fajardo can feel it, and his head coach Jason Moss. After a difficult year last year in Saskatchewan, coming over from Montreal, they can taste it now. It's a 20-point lead, made 21 on that conversion by Cote. Jeshurun Antwi a playoff touchdown. 16 wins, a record in the CFL. The Argos matching Edmonton from 1989. Here's how the numbers stacked out. True dominance, big favorites in the division finals. And like Edmonton in 89, remember this, the 9-9 Saskatchewan Roughriders. David Albright picks up that fumble by Tracy Ham, takes it in for a touchdown in the first half, a sign of things to come. Tom Burgess to Ray Elgard. Burgess again, and remember they had Kent Austin. Two good quarterbacks, and that's Jeff Fairholm with the touchdown. And the 9-9 Riders completed the upset when they weren't given a chance in that game in Edmonton. 16-2, Edmonton loses at home after that record season. And a lot of that, look now, David Unger with his head in his hands, wondering what might have been, and what it truly was a remarkable season. And Andrew Harris, is this it for him? He's pretty much said so. Didn't completely rule out a return, but had said before about 98% that Hall of Fame career is coming to an end. And Chad Kelly, remarkable regular season. But when it mattered most, he had his worst day in the Canadian Football League. Brandon Calvert on the return. Cody Fajardo, who went to a Grey Cup with the Argos as a backup quarterback to Ricky Ray, scored the winning touchdown back in 2017 against the Riders, but moved on and became a starter with Saskatchewan, and said it was a tough exit for him. You know how much he's savoring this moment to get to a Grey Cup after the way it ended with the Riders being benched for the final couple of games.
15-yard misconduct penalty. Toronto number 45 will go back 15 yards. It's going to be first down.
Well, you talk about that connection between quarterback Cody Fajardo and his head coach Jason Moss, moving here together, essentially moving to Montreal from Saskatchewan, where Moss had been the offensive coordinator. But there's that Ricky Ray connection. Both winning Grey Cups as backups to Ricky Ray at opposite ends of Ray's career.
For Moss back in the early Edmonton days when Ray was their quarterback, winning in 03 and again in 05, and yes, 2017, Ray with the Argos and Fajardo was there. Chad Kelly taking off on a day to forget as he slides up close to midfield. A minute and a half to go, but a comfortable 38-17 lead for the Alouettes, who are going to be taking a trip down the QEW, Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, a week from tomorrow. Grey Cup 110 against either the Winnipeg Blue Bombers or the BC Lions. That is still to be determined. A.J. Ouellette pushed out of bounds by Tyrese Beverette. And by the way, Montreal has played BC in the Grey Cup before, back in 2000 and again in 2006. The Lions won both of those. But this is what amazes me, Dwayne. In the long histories of the Alouettes and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they have never met in the Grey Cup.
Remarkable.
One of two possibilities now, with the Alouettes closing in on winning the East. Kelly completes it. And the Alouettes will give him that all day long. Dejon Brissett thrown down by Reggie Stubblefield. Part of this defensive onslaught that has forced 8 turnovers. And give that man credit, Danny Machocha. In this East Final, he was a reluctant head coach a year ago. He didn't want to be a coach again, but stepped in to do it. But as a general manager, Kelly with time and completing to the lad as the Alouettes just back off. He's pushed out of bounds, Beverette. But consider, we talked about this last week, the uncertainty of the ownership, where free agents didn't want to go to Montreal, and they had to make some adjustments once the season got going. And the general manager, Machocha, certainly did pick up some very good players.
Yeah, a fantastic job, and he was fortunate to have drafted very well. You look at some of the young guys having impacts. Tyson Philpott with a big day today. Luol Uguak, who's made some big plays for them. Of course, Marc-Antoine Dequoy.
Attack!
Just a minute to go. Kelly, deep look into the end zone, bobbled and dropped. Intended there for Cam Phillips with Marc-Antoine Dequoy in coverage.
But yeah, you alluded to moves made during during the season because the Alouettes weren't really in a position to make those impactful signings in the offseason. They lost a guy like Darius Pickett, in part because of that uncertainty in Montreal during free agency season, but they're able to, a third of the way into the season, pick up Sean Lemon. 2/3 of the way into the season, pick up Darnell Sankey, and look at what those two veterans have done for this defense through 2 playoff games. It's been
second down under a minute. Coming in is Stubblefield again. He's had an eye for the ball. He was looking for another pick there to take it away from Dejan Brissett. But yeah, that's another one of those first-year Alouettes on defense.
Young guys.
Yeah, young guys that have made such a contribution.
Couldn't sign a veteran, but the rookie free agent, Reggie Stubblefield, making as significant an impact as any.
51 seconds. And then the Alouettes are Hamilton bound. Intercepted? No. Deontay Ruffin. Oh, what a fitting way it would have been to put a bow in this game, but nonetheless. That's it anyway. Ruffin had a chance for the pick, but it is still a turnover on downs.
Yeah, overthrow looking for Unger out in the flat. It's the Alouettes look to run down the clock on this impressive East Final victory.
As we count down those seconds, I just want to give a big shout out. We listened to Cody Fajardo.
We're going down. Victory. Ready? Victory.
To our Eastern broadcast crew, producer Chris Edwards, director Franklin Rubenstein, all the talented people that bring you the sights and sounds. Thanks for another great season. And you, my friend, another great year. Looking forward to next year already as we look ahead to the Grey Cup next week.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Smith.
Not the way the Argos saw it playing out. That script was different today, wasn't it? Victory, says Cody Fajardo. As history is about to repeat itself, just like 1989, the team that finished 16-2 is knocked out in the division final. And oh, what a contribution from Noel Thorpe's defense for Jason Moss's team as those final seconds wind down. And the bucket for Moss in the celebration with one final play to come. Well, Montreal has found a way to stop the Argonaut juggernaut. And with that, the Alouettes are heading to the Grey Cup for the first time in 13 years.
They won a cup together as general manager, coach, and quarterback in Edmonton. Jason Moss and Danny Machocha looking to share in another cup victory together here as GM and head coach, the Montreal Alouettes.
You talked about that dubious stat for the Alouettes. They were 11-0 against teams beneath them, but they were 0-7 in the regular season against teams above them. They had not beaten Winnipeg or BC or Toronto, but they have now, in the most important game, defeated the Argonauts. As we send it down to Matthew Shinetti and the victorious quarterback, Cody Fajardo.
Cody, you told me yesterday they're not going to give it to us. We're going to have to take it. A complete team effort. You're going to the Grey Cup. How much does it mean to this team, knowing all the uncertainty this team had going into this season?
It was a magical year, and it's not over. But to tell you the truth, when we assembled everything in training camp and all the doubters and all the haters, we were excited for the opportunity. We knew we had to go through a really good football team, and like I said, we had to take it. We played three-phase football tonight, and we're not done. We got one more game to go, but we're going to celebrate. This team came in, and we came together so quickly, and I'm so damn proud of them.
And you talk about doubt. Last year, you didn't know where you would be in professional football. You made a choice to come to Montreal because they bought into you. You told me last week you've had a dream of going to the Grey Cup. Is this how it was all meant to be?
I had 3 dreams this year about going to a Grey Cup. Never in my career have I had that. And that's when I knew it was special. But the job isn't done just because you have a dream. You got to go out and you got to execute. Our defense played phenomenal tonight. Our special teams made a huge kick return right after they scored. And our offense scored touchdowns when we needed to. This team is incredible. And what I'm very thankful for is we get another week together. Another week in that locker room with my brothers. And I can't be any happier for them.
How about another week with head coach Jason Moss? What can you say about the culture he's built? All season, the message has been be great for 8. You get that chance to win an 8th Grey Cup for the Alouettes.
I love that man. I would not be playing this year if it wasn't for him. I'm so thankful for him believing in me and understanding that he believed that I could be a franchise quarterback in this league. And I'm so thankful for that man. And I'll give anything, and I'll run through a brick wall for him because that's how much he means to me.
We will see you in Hamilton, Cody. Congratulations.
Absolutely. I love you, Laura. I'll see you next week.
Rod, back to you.
Oh, Matthew, not the first time Fajardo has celebrated a big win in the Eastern Final on this field. The last one 6 years ago, he was with the Argos. But, yeah, he celebrates. They celebrate. And it was a lot of big plays, especially Dwayne, with that defense of the Alouettes setting the tone.
Yeah, right off the hop. The Toronto Argonauts, as expected, came out flying. They marched the ball down the field. They're inside the 10-yard line. But Marc-Antoine Dequoy comes up with his 3rd pick 6 of 2023, none bigger than that one. Gave the Alouettes an early lead. They just kept it going, especially 3rd quarter. They turned it on. The game was close, and they took it over. Kevianento with the pick 6. James Letcher, after the Argos finally score a touchdown, silences the crowd immediately by returning the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns on defense, a touchdown on special teams. You talk about a team effort from these Montreal Alouettes as you see Jason Moss enjoying that Gatorade shower. I'll tell you what, Montreal came in with a 6-game win streak. The Toronto Argonauts won 16 regular season games. They had 2 6-game win streaks during the year. But it's Montreal Alouettes who now have the only 7-game win streak of this 2023 season. Longest winning streak of the year, hottest team in the league, and they're on their way to the Grey Cup.
Most importantly to them, a chance to make it 8. Yeah, in the biggest game of all, Grey Cup 110 next week against either Winnipeg or BC. Sean Lemon. Well, he's savored moments like this before with a few teams, including the Argos, Calgary, of course. Darnell Sankey with the Riders last year, Calgary before that, but a late add to this defense this season, and an important one as well. And we're now ready for the trophy presentation to the East Division champion Montreal Alouettes. Let's send it back down. Oh, they're just gathering them now for that trophy presentation. But there's one other point about the turnovers. One of the most impressive stats about the 16-win team, the Argos, and they turned it over. Montreal forced it 8 times.
Yeah, this is a Montreal Alouettes team that imposed their will on a 16-2 Toronto Argonaut squad.
All right, now we're ready for the presentation of that trophy. Let's send it to Matthew.
I have never seen the kind of energy I've seen than what I saw in that first quarter after you got that turnover. Jason Moss, you're going to the Grey Cup with the Montreal Alouettes for the first time since 2010. But the culture you built this season, did it really take full form tonight?
Absolutely, but you know, I don't think anybody was surprised with the result in this locker room. We've continued to believe in each other all year, played for one another. It was a 3-phase football game, and it feels tremendous. I know we're not done. I know we wanted to move on to that 3rd step, and we're able to do it, but I'm very proud of our guys. Been proud of them all season long. Oh. Just awesome. What can you say?
Be great for 8 was the message you had since the beginning of the season. There was so much uncertainty when you think about players, ownership. What did it take to get your team here? How much work was it?
A lot of work. We talk about work is what we do, and we're going to get back to work next week. So work is what we do on this team. We've talked about it since the beginning. We talked about the grade 8, the first day we got together. Now we have a chance to be great, and we love it. We can't get back. We can't wait to get back to work. That's it.
see it, Hamilton.
That is one emotional head coach, Jason Moss. And they celebrate here in Toronto. The Montreal Alouettes off to the Grey Cup. The first time since 2010 when they won back-to-back when Anthony Calvillo was the star quarterback. But yeah, the saying goes, that's why they play the game. There was every reason to favor the Argos for the regular season they had, but won one game, and the Alouettes were clearly the much better team in this one game.
Yeah, they sure were. And we started looking as this game approached, on paper, watching the teams. I mean, we talk about the final third of the season. Both of these teams were 5-1 in the final third of the season. The Montreal Alouettes gaining momentum. They're the only two teams in the league. We talked about the win streaks. The only two teams in the league that had 6-game winning streaks at any point this year. And just on a collision course to meet each other, the Montreal Alouettes just pulling everything together at the right time. You had a bit of a feeling last week, I think, for us watching that East semifinal and getting a little bit of a sense of the closeness of this team, the intensity of this team, that the momentum was real. There's no smoke and mirrors to this. The Montreal Alouettes are for real.
And sharing that moment now with fans, coming in as the underdog, having lost all 3 times to the Argos in the regular season. But when it mattered most, this is a team that really rose up. So many upsets. See a big play happen early in the game, and that's what happened here on the Dubois interception for a touchdown. Montreal wins the East, off to Grey Cup 110.